All right. Today we're talking about unworthiness. Now, again, most people feel unworthy. And what's interesting about it is that people display their unworthiness by different behaviors. So you might look at somebody and say, oh, that person seems like they feel worthy. Whereas you look at somebody else and say, well, that person obviously acts like he is unworthy. But really, behaviors even that may appear like the person thinks they're worthy might just be masking the truth of their unworthiness. And what I mean by that is, take for example, somebody who seems very confident. This comes up with people who are narcissistic and can be pretty much commanding of other people and taking control and acting like they're on top of everything. They have everything under control. And so they seem like they feel worthy inside because they're taking commands, they're in control, and they're doing what they want to do and don't really give a crap about what anybody else thinks. So it's good to do what you want and say what you want without feeling concern about what other people think. In other words, being able to express yourself without fear. That's an important aspect of living, is being able to express yourself without fear. But to mask unworthiness with this sense of privilege or sense of dominance over other people is just it's just a mask. I mean, that's what's really happening, is there's a deep insecurity or a deep feeling of unworthiness within that person. And in order to make up for it or to cope with it, what this person has done is learned how to get his way, be in control, and possibly even manipulate other people around him, which is the case for narcissists. They are master manipulators. And there's a scale of it too. There may be people that you could say are clinical narcissists, and then there's other people that may have some narcissistic behaviors or may just have arrogance or machismo, this bravado, like they are in control and they supposedly take life by the balls and everything is in their hands. They've got it all worked out. And yet, it is a mask for the unworthiness that they really feel. Because they've had to create this structure around themselves in order to cope with feelings that they probably don't even want to deal with. Some they may not even realize are controlling them and causing them to act this way. Of course, there's the other end of the spectrum where you have people who are super pleasers, and the way they cope with their unworthiness is just by being a pleaser. They tend to be yes men or yes women, the type of people that will cater to what anybody else wants because they just want to feel accepted. They want to feel approval of the people around them. And they're the ones that are typically working themselves to the bone at work to please the boss, to please the other fellow employees or coworkers, and they do it because they want that approval. And they may actually narrow it down to where they're only focused on getting certain people's approval just because that's the only way to survive in a world where if you try to get everybody's approval, you would fail. And so they may pick and choose whose approval that they are actually focusing on getting. And in that case, typically it's the people in authority. And then you have those that are in that mode, and they would be considered the brown nosers. They may be the ones who go and kiss ass to the people who they think can get them up the corporate ladder or get them the bonus or get them the kudos. And then they might be total dicks or jerks or bitches or whatever to the people around them who really have no influence over their success or failure in a particular job or social environment. So this unworthiness, can display in a broad number of ways. I mean, I've given the two ends of the spectrum, but it can even be somewhere in between, where people that seem relatively well adjusted and all that are still dealing with it. And they may go back and forth in small increments one way or the other, more toward the being like a showing or displaying kind of this narcissistic behavior, and then maybe in some cases displaying more of a pleaser behavior, or just kind of finding this middle ground where they're just fluctuating between the two in small amounts or whatever, but they're still dealing with this feeling of unworthiness inside. Now, you can identify this feeling within yourself, and it shows up whenever you try to do something and then feel this limitation, like there's something you really deep down want to do, and you may not even verbalize it to other people. And you sometimes may not even admit it to yourself. But if you were really given the opportunity, in other words, if somebody said, look, you have unlimited funds and you know you aren't going to get hurt doing it, you've got free reign, what is it that you would do? What would you go for? What would you accomplish? Where would you go with whatever resources somebody gave to you to be able to be or do anything you want? And if you really looked at that and said, well, this is what I'd do, or this is where I'd go, or this is the people that I would hang out with, and these are the kinds of things I'd like to try. And then you reel it back to, okay, why are you not doing that now? What is holding you back from doing that now? And some people might say that it's, well, I don't have enough money, I don't have the right job, I don't know the right people, whatever. But really look at yourself. Look inside and say, well, what is, am I holding myself back? Is it just simply that I'm not making the right connections because I don't feel like putting myself out there? Am I not going for it like somebody else might, who really believes in themselves that they can accomplish something great? That limitation is the unworthiness. That feeling of, well, I don't know, maybe I can't quite get there, or that whatever the little excuses are that hold you back, that is that feeling of unworthiness, that feeling of, I'm not sure that I'm good enough. I don't know. I don't trust myself to be able to accomplish it. The excuse can even show up in ways that are really insidious, where you say to yourself, well, I don't know. I don't think I really want to get to that level, because if I did, there'd be too much responsibility. I don't think I want to have to deal with all that responsibility. I really don't want to work that hard. Well, if I really had this person in my life, then there would be all these other concerns that I would have, even though that's who I'd really like to have in my life, in my social circle or whatever. And these little excuses that pop up, it's well, I really want this, but if I had it, then, I don't know. I don't think I'd really want to have to deal with these other things. I want this, but, So it's that resistance, that contradiction to what you want with, but I don't really need it. I don't think I want that responsibility. I don't want to deal with whatever the hang-ups and the problems are that would come with it. That contrariness to what you want is actually that unworthiness coming up. It's that feeling that you aren't really good enough to really have it. You aren't worthy of whatever that outcome is that you really want. You don't really believe you deserve it. It's unworthiness. And there's a way to deal with it, and it has to do with this whole concept of self-criticism, self-judgment. All of our lives, we typically have, at least on occasion during the day, times when we think negatively about ourselves. And it may not even come out as like a verbal thing where you actually say to yourself, I should have done this, or I didn't do this right, or darn it, why was I so stupid? You may not even mentally verbalize that or even have those thoughts per se. But you may have a feeling within you of like this, something holding you back. And usually it's because of some kind of self-criticism, some self-deprecating thought that is behind that feeling, some judgment about yourself. Well, I'm not really that type of person. I'm not the real social butterfly like so-and-so. I'm more introverted. I just want to be the back office guy, or I'm the girl that doesn't really, I don't do those kinds of things. I don't hang out with those kind of people. That's not my thing. Yet deep down you think, well, I'd really like to try it, or I like to go and explore that, but it's just not really me. That is that judgment of yourself. It's that conditioned response that comes from your younger years, the way you grew up and the way people taught you, either overtly or just through different little subtle things in the way they treated you or the way you observed things in life. You got the message that these things are not good, and if you do them, you're going to be not good. And so you avoid them. And it can turn into where you're judging others, and then you judge yourself if you actually start to be interested in even going that direction. So there's this judgment of self for exploring what you really want to explore because you feel like it's not right. You feel like to do so would be wrong. But if you already want to do it, you're hosed because it's already wrong. The want of doing something that you feel like you shouldn't do because of some core value is already screwed you. So what to do is let go of that self-judgment. Let go of judging yourself for those things that you really want to do. Let go of judging yourself for whatever it is that you think is not good about you. Let go of that self-criticism. Just ask yourself, can I let this go? Can I let it go? Can I let go of judging myself? Can I let go of criticizing myself? Can I give myself some love? Can I give myself a little more love and more and more? And can I let go of this feeling of unworthiness? Can I let it go even more? And can I let it go even more? As you do that, that unworthiness feeling will drop away little by little. And when you start to feel that reaction to things that you want to do that's a contrary, like a resistance to actually doing it, to actually going for it, instead of giving into that resistance, instead of agreeing with the resistance, the thing that's keeping you from getting where you want to go, ask yourself, can I let that go? Can I let that resistance go? Can I let go of this contradiction to what I really, really want? And can I just let myself feel worthy of having it? Can I allow myself to feel worthy of having what I really want? Can I just be okay with having everything that I want? You might start with just one thing that you want that is a particular interest that you've been holding yourself back from, or that has been having these contrary feelings come up, and just focus on that, and then focus on each other thing as they come up, those things that you like, the things that you want, the directions you want to go, and then that contrariness that keeps you from actually doing it, and seeing if you can let go of the contrariness, the resistance, the feeling of unworthiness that doesn't allow you to have that. And do it with each item, with each thing that you want. And little by little, you'll see that resistance fall away. And as it falls away, you open yourself up to being able to have all those things that you want. You open yourself up to that abundance, the abundance of life. And instead of wanting, you don't feel the lack anymore, which is the want. You realize that you have, that anything is within reach of you, because you don't feel unworthy of having it. And when you don't have that unworthiness, when you don't feel unworthy of having it, it's yours. It comes to you. First, it comes to you in your imagination. And as you believe that it's really yours, it can't help but come to you in reality. So, let go of the unworthiness, let go of the self-judgment, let go of that self-criticism, and have everything in life that you want. Ciao.